though. Hello, welcome back to another video, and welcome to my 5k special of what if Deku saved a goddess. This was actually the opposite of what I actually planned on doing for my 4k, but the thing came up in my actual comment section a while ago on my community poll, so for a what if idea, and you guys actually seemed to like it. So we are doing this for a 5k special, and if you guys would actually like to see another part of this series, please tell me in the comment section down below and hit the like button down below as well. It lets me know you guys are interested in my content and motivates me even more to actually upload. And also, if you guys would actually like to get in contact with me or get shoutouts really early, we actually have a Discord server that is linked down below, Twitter and other accounts as well, like my second channel and my live VOD channel, which I forgot the login to, which I really need to reset and actually get into again to actually start uploading. I've held you guys back long enough. Thank you all for so much for the 5k subscribers. So let's begin our what if. Let's begin with the perspective of Izuku Midoriya, aged 10 years old. As Izuku was with his mother around this time. Hey mom, what's we having for dinner? Izuku said in the most innocent tone, as Inko turned her head to her son, smiling a gigawatt smile. I don't know, honey. What would you want to eat? Can we have burgers? Izuku said, nodding his head to the side. Yeah, sure, sweetie. Let's go over here then for something to eat, Izuku said. Or Inko said, sorry. As Inko and Izuku both sat down for something to eat as they ate their burgers, of course. Until something came through the door. As the man who had walked through the door would have been a villain with guns on his hands, or gun for hands. If you guys have seen the guy in the USJ with guns on his fingers, that's him. Put the money in the bag right goddamn now, the man shouted out loud. As Izuku just started to hug his mother, saying, Mom, what's that? Izuku said, as Inko told Izuku to get under the table with her following behind him. As the man just went up to the counter and pointed his quirk at the man. As the man just put his hands up saying, we don't have any money, we just donated it, the man said. Where'd you donate it to, huh? The man said with a stone look on his face. We donated to a charity for cancer, kid, man. Calm down, he said. That got good enough as he shot a bullet at the glass window, shattering it. Either get me my money or I'm going to start killing hostages, the man said, as the man started to actually fire more of his bullets at people, hitting one person in general, this being Night Eye, as the bullet went straight through Night Eye's wrist. Izuku, seeing that, would have said, oh no, he hit me. Wait, who is that? Izuku said, as the Night Eye just stood up from his seat and just looked over at the man. Well, you just ruined my afternoon. As Night Eye said that, he threw 5 kilogram little chess pieces at the man, hitting him in the head and clogging up his system, so actually making him fire his quirk at the man. As Night Eye threw one more at his head, knocking him clean out unconscious. As Night Eye strapped him up and put him to a castigated wall, making him unable to move. As everyone was just standing there in shock, an anorexic man actually took down something, but they took a second glance as they noticed it was Night Eye, as most people came rushing over to him asking him about what All Might is, because remember in this timeline he's still actually partnered up with All Might. As Night Eye tried to ignore them and tried to go over to the kids to make sure they were okay. The first one he went to was Izuku Midoriya, as Night Eye went down on his hands and knees and asked the kid if he was okay. As Izuku replied saying, yeah, I'm okay, thank you very much, sir, Izuku said. As Izuku just said, excuse me, but can I have an autograph please? Izuku said, excited and also very nervous at the same time. As Night Eye handed him a piece of paper with his autograph already signed on it. As Izuku put this into his actual book, and Izuku just placed it into the actual bookmark to use it. Is that so? as Izuku would have actually walked off with his mother and everything and arrived back at his apartment. As a couple of days went by, Izuku would have been hanging around the park like usual. As Izuku arrived back at the park like he would normally do every single weekend, as Izuku arrived there he saw a girl getting bullied by Bakugo. As Izuku ran up to them asking him what was he doing. But before Bakugo could throw another explosion, Izuku stood right in front of the explosion, taking the full force of it, with Izuku getting knocked back a little bit. As Izuku managed to pick up himself saying, "Kachan, what are you doing? Leave her alone," Izuku said. As Bakugo was just saying, "Shut up, Deku, get lost, you weak, worthless nerd," Bakugo said with a furious tone, unlike Kanon. As Bakugo threw another explosion at Izuku, with Izuku just taking it full on. Thanks to Izuku being blasted with Bakugo's quirk throughout his life, Izuku's managed to build up an endurance a tiny bit, but not enough endurance to actually take the full force. As Izuku's full experience with Bakugo's explosion started to get more and more effective on Izuku's body, making Izuku bruise and started to have cuts and started to form on Izuku's body. As Izuku was taking these explosions, the girl behind him started to back up slowly. As she got to a safe distance, her parents called her. "Elizabeth, where are you?" the woman shouted. As the woman would have just saw Izuku being beaten up, she would have instantly rushed over, knocking the blonde-haired boy, telling him how much of a bad person he is for doing that. She would have just started to call the police before Bakugo used an explosion on the woman's wrist, making her let go a tiny bit of his grip. As Bakugo started to run away with his lackeys following behind. "Oh, you little brats, come back here," the man shouted. As the woman was just paying attention to see if her daughter was okay. But before she could say anything, her daughter started to say, "Yeah, but is that boy okay? He took the full brunt of that mean boy's attacks," this white-haired girl said. As Izuku would have just Izuku said, trying to get up when he couldn't even move at all. As Izuku's body started to spasm and tense up through every single movement Izuku did, it just got worse and worse. As the woman came walking up to Izuku, putting her hand on top of his head, and started to say little bits of chants. "Hanimo, Hasimo, Siukabo," as Izuku's body started to surround in white light, as Izuku's body started to rapidly heal. Like recovery goes healing, but it takes no stamina, only from the user itself. As the woman finished healing the little boy, as she helped him to a nearest bench, and sat down with him, asking him what went wrong, and like why is that boy beating the crap out of him for. As Izuku would have walked down, saying he was quirkless, and this has always happened since he was 4 years old. My mom, dad, and everyone else doesn't do anything about it, Izuku said. "I think it's because of those goddamn quirk lords," the man said, walking behind the tree, or coming from it, grabbing some paper towels from the bathroom. "In this world, if you have a better quirk, you're equal to, like, one of the richest families. You can basically get away with more or less anything," the man said. "Yeah, but it seems a bit overkill, doesn't it?" the woman said. "Yeah, I know, but that's the way the world works here. If you have a villain that's pure black or white type of quirk fire, that's basically just going to either be a villain or hero. It's all depending on what type of quirk it is." As the man said this, the woman understood, and Izuku understood as well. As the quirkless just seemed like a virus that seems to be incurable. But people just put them down in life because there are only little bits of them left, and people think they're like a mini virus that people can catch and be quirkless. "I'm guessing that's what happened to you," the man said. "Yeah, basically," Izuku said, struggling to talk from him being nervous. As Izuku started to get up slowly and started to say, "Thank you very much for helping me. I'm going to be on my way home now, thank you," Izuku said as Izuku walked off. But before Izuku could walk off, the girl grabbed his hand and said, "Would you like to be my friend?" The girl said. As Izuku had just said, "Yes, sure, I would like to be your friend," Izuku said as his eyes glazed with 20 gigawatt smiles, the same with the little girls as well, as they both went out for the out of the years, being friends, getting closer and closer to the point you would actually think they're dating to the point. As a couple of years went by, 3 years to be precise, or 4 years actually, when they're all 14 years of age and their last year of middle school. As Izuku, Elizabeth, and everyone else was sat in their classrooms like the original canon. As Izuku was sitting there, the teacher actually started to walk through the door, giving everyone their actual tests to see where they want to go next year, or into their next high school. I like canon. As just like canon, the teacher would have just shouted out, "Oh, Midori, you want to go to high school as well? Also UA?" I don't think you could do that without a quirk. The man just started to laugh, as everyone else in the class laughed except from 2 people. And this also, one of these people just jumped onto his desk and charged up at Izuku with an explosion in his hand. "You filthy, quirkless bastard!" Bakugo shouted, throwing an explosion at Izuku's desk, with Izuku just barely touching out of the way. "You think you can become a hero without a quirk? Don't make me laugh," Bakugo said with a scowl on his face, as Bakugo started to charge up his explosion even more, and tried to throw it at Izuku, but Izuku managed to evade it, so Bakugo started to throw another one and another one, but it still didn't hit Izuku, which just made Bakugo even more mad, until the teacher finally told Bakugo to sit back down and be quiet, or he'll be going to the principal's office. As Bakugo complied and actually sat back down at his desk, getting more and more angrier by the second, as Elizabeth nudged Izuku's arm, telling him, "Is he okay?" As Izuku would have replied saying, "Yeah, I'm okay. Thanks for worrying," Izuku said. As Izuku and Elizabeth both talked through the lecture in their class. As for the remaining minutes of the lesson, Bakugo stared at Izuku with flames coming out of Bakugo's hand, and also with charred smoke as well. As Bakugo started saying, "Izuku, at the end of the lesson, you're fucking dead," Bakugo said internally. As everyone else in that class wouldn't have not paid attention to it except from Elizabeth. She would have known about that, about his bullying and everything, and would have tried to actually get it sorted for the years. But Bakugo's mother and Izuku's mother would have actually tried to not do anything about it. Thanks to Izuku being quirkless and everything, they don't care as much as what they should do, its parents. As throughout the years through that, Inko started to actually become less lenient with Izuku, thinking he's not going to become a hero, there's no point of him actually even being here. She would be thinking internally, but she would never act on it for the scared thought of actually losing her child permanently, as Inko would have actually started to take a little bit less care of Izuku gradually, but it's still noticeable nonetheless. As we cut back to Izuku's point of view, at the end of the lesson everything would have gone like canon, with Bakugo actually blowing up Izuku's book. But the moment Izuku went downstairs to grab his book, Elizabeth would have actually helped him dry it off a lot faster than canon. Izuku in this timeline would have been a lot more confident to start actually training, so Izuku's actually got his season 4 body built in the original canon, so Izuku's going to be a lot stronger than you think he is. It's just like canon, they'll be going under the underpass, but the moment Izuku would have heard something rattling, Izuku would have pushed Elizabeth straight out of the way, and actually been swallowed whole by the known sludge villain. Izuku was struggling for air and tried to push the sludge villain off of him. Izuku managed to peel some of the sludge villain off of him so he could take a nice breath of air before Elizabeth couldn't even do anything or cast a spell or anything like that. Izuku was instantly shot by a burst of wind that was passing by, as All Might said, "I am here. Don't worry, kids," as All Might threw a smash through the corridors, as All Might destroyed half of the actual crusting areas, but he saved the 2 kids from the sludgeville, and that all that mattered in that very moment. As All Might saved Izuku, Izuku asked for an autograph like he did what he did with Night Eye, as All Might opened his book and actually signed his book, same with Elizabeth. As All Might was about to jump off from collecting the sludge field before Izuku stopped him. "Excuse me, but is it possible for me to become a hero without a quirk?" Izuku said, as All Might would have just said to him. "Maybe or maybe not. It's really depending on what type of drive you have. But it also depends on what type of quirk you have as well. If your quirk isn't matching up the job, just back out of it. It's not worth it, in my opinion. But if you're quirkless, then I'm sorry, kid, but my answer's no. You're better off just going for a firefighter, police, or some medical department. They maybe not be heroic, but they are in their own way. They save people no matter what the cost is to their own. That's what a hero does, more or less, so you better off going for one of those either." All Might said that broke Izuku down to him crying, as Elizabeth would have just stared daggers at All Might at that very moment as All Might found shivers down his spine. "Wait, why am I scared of a little kid?" All Might said. All Might jumped away as Izuku's tears just started flowing and more flowing down his face. "Why would he say that if he's meant to be the #1 hero, right?" Izuku said, crying more. "All Might's just an arrogant prick. He's not worth it, Izuku." As Elizabeth picked up Izuku and spread her wings wide and started to lift Izuku off of the ground, with Izuku just crying even more. As the moment they got up to the rooftop, they heard a giant explosion happen in the distance, as it was red with orange tints in it. As Izuku just said, "Isn't that Bakugo's type of explosion?" Izuku said, as Izuku instantly went down without noticing it. Izuku automatically, his body on instinct, went into that very direction. As Izuku arrived at the location of the actual explosion without realizing it. As Izuku looked over to see it was Bakugo, and just like canon, Izuku would have rushed in. The moment Izuku would have got there, Izuku would have actually tried to claw Bakugo out as much as he could. This failing, as All Might had to step in, buffing up, and actually getting the same motivation like Ganon. "Don't worry, kid, I am here," All Might said, throwing a mighty Detroit smash onto the ground, changing the weather in the process, getting rid of the most of the fire and debris. As All Might collected up the sludge film, with Izuku getting scolded. But this is when Elizabeth arrived and actually tried to scold the heroes for doing a shit job of protecting a kid. "You know what? You guys are not heroes, you're just fake wannabes. If you really were heroes, you would have stepped in no matter the cost. Just stop being a hero altogether," Elizabeth shouted at them, as one of the heroes known as Death Arms was just about to raise his fist at one of the kids. But he realized the news reporters were behind him, and if he actually hit the kid, that wouldn't actually be good on his rep. So he actually just stopped automatically from before he hit her. As everything would have gone like canon, just like the original. Izuku and Elizabeth was both walking home that very day. As the moment Izuku was actually about to go forward another step, he was stopped by, "I am here in a bizarre position," All Might said. I don't stand for sound bites, I stand for heroism," All Might said, punching his chest. As Izuku just about to say something before, a giant cloud of smoke surrounded All Might, making him disperse into his skinny All Might form. As All Might would have gone through the same thing like canon, with Izuku offering him one for all. Thank you all for watching this video, and if you guys would actually like to see another video like this for another special, part 2 is already finished and recorded. I just need you guys to hit a certain goal for me. If this video hits 300 likes in 24 hours, I will release the next part in the same day of this actually hitting the 300 mark goal. Thank you all for watching this video, and also one last announcement. If you guys can actually join the Discord server, link in the description down below. All my content is set on notifications there, so you guys can actually get notified when I actually upload. YouTube doesn't actually send out my notifications for some reason to people who actually watch my stuff. So it would make a really big appreciation if you guys can actually go down the description and actually join the Discord server. You guys can have long ass chats with my admins and me personally. You can also hear me stuttering there madly. And I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye, bros.
From the dark side, does anybody ever wanna